Hey, everybody. Ready to get your hands dirty?
Oh, that sounds like it.
Today, we're talking all about excavator operators.
Oh, cool.
Prepping for that interview so you can really, wow them.
Awesome.
We've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
Okay.
They have this super detailed career guide. They've also got this really in-depth interview guide with a bunch of questions.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to kind of go through all that
Sounds good.
and make sure that you are ready to rock that interview and land that job.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about knowing how to operate the machine, right?
Right.
They want to know you got the skills. They want to know you can think on your feet. They want to know you're going to be safe.
Exactly. It's about the whole package.
Yeah, for sure. So I think a good place to start is, what does an excavator operator even do all day?
Yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of people, maybe they picture, just digging a ditch.
Right.
But it's got to be more than that.
It's way more than that. You're not just digging holes all day. You're shaping the landscape.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, you could be working on demolition projects, dredging, putting in pipelines, even prepping a site for a giant skyscraper.
Wow, that's amazing.
And the career guide, that's what's so cool about it. It goes through all these different things that you might be doing.
Oh, cool. So it really paints a picture of, the variety.
It really does. And it also highlights this need for strong spatial awareness, right? It's kind of like, playing Tetris.
Yeah.
But instead of those little blocks, you're working with these massive machines.
Oh, my God.
And real-world consequences.
No pressure.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. So you've got to have, a really good sense of where everything is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of skills, does the guide talk about, where you can go with this career?
Yeah. So it goes into how you can grow, right? So you might start as an operator, but with experience, maybe some extra training. You can move up, become a site supervisor, even a project manager.
Okay.
So there's a lot of potential to really move up in this field.
That's really cool. So it's not just, a dead-end job.
No, not at all. There's a lot of room to grow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we dive into the interview questions, I do want to mention this thing about RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's not JSysT about helping you find jobs.
Right.
It can really help you ace the applications and interviews.
It's like having a personal coach, right there with you. And
Right.
these AI-screened applications are everywhere now.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher helps you make sure your answers are tailored, gives you feedback, so you really stand out.
Oh, I see. So it's not generic advice. It's specific for this role.
Exactly.
I like that.
Okay,
So you ready to tackle some of these interview questions?
let's do it. I think a good one to start with is, tell me about your experience operating an excavator.
Okay.
It seems kind of basic,
Yeah.
but there's a lot you can do with it.
Okay, so tell me about your experience operating an excavator. What are they really looking for there?
Yeah, it's more than just rattling off a list of machines you've used, right?
Yeah,
They
right.
want to see your expertise, gauge how comfortable you are.
Okay.
Like, what types of excavators have you used? How complex were the projects you worked on? Any, special skills you picked up along the way?
So it's not just I've driven one.
Right.
It's I've mastered this specific model while working on, this crazy pipeline project.
Yeah, exactly. Details.
Oh, okay.
Don't be afraid to be specific. Mention those makes and models.
Yeah.
The attachments you've used, in any extra training you've had. Like, if you've worked with a GPS-guided excavator,
Ooh.
that's a great thing to highlight.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And don't forget, stories. Tell stories.
Ooh.
It makes it real.
Yeah, yeah.
So think about those projects you've worked on and pick ones that show off those skills and experience. Were there any close calls,
Well-
unexpected problems you had to solve? That kind of stuff makes it interesting.
I like that. And that's where I think, too, RoleCatcher's AI can really help.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it analyzes those answers and gives you feedback that's specific to the job.
It really does.
So are there any, pitfalls to avoid with this question?
Yeah, definitely don't exaggerate or claim to have skills you don't, right? Honesty is key.
Sure.
And keep it relevant to the job description, don't go on and on about things that don't matter.
Right. Okay, so tell a good story, be specific, and don't lie.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, let's move on to another one that I think is probably pretty common.
Yeah.
How do you ensure the safety of yourself and those around you while operating an excavator? I mean, safety's got to be, huge EE in this line of work.
It's paramount, yeah.
So what are they looking for when they ask this?
It's not just about knowing the safety rules, right?
Right.
It's about showing that you really are committed to keeping everyone safe. They
Wow.
want to see that you understand the hazards, that you're not going to cut corners.
Right. They want to know you're going to be responsible.
Absolutely. So you want to talk about specific procedures you always follow, right?
Okay.
Pre-operation checks, wearing your PPE, using hand signals to communicate, always being aware of your surroundings.
Gotcha. What about like any special training or certifications? Did you mention those?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
If you've done OSHA training or, have a specific excavation safety certification,
Right.
that's great to bring up.
Awesome. And if you've like done something extra on past projects, like on above and beyond.
Oh, yeah. Share those stories.
Okay.
Show them you're not just following the rules, you're thinking ahead about safety.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So any pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah. Definitely don't downplay safety, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or suggest you might bend the rules. They want to know you're a safety champion,
Makes sense.
someone who takes it seriously.
Safety first. Okay. Good advice. Let's move on to one that really, I think, gets at your problem-solving skills, which is, have you ever encountered a problem while operating an excavator? How did you handle it?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a classic behavioral interview question.
Oh, okay.
And they're trying to see how you deal with challenges, especially under pressure.
Right, right.
It's not just about the problem itself, it's about how you approach it.
Oh, okay. So how you think.
Exactly. How you react, how you figure things out.
So they want to know if, like, you're the kind of person who freaks out when something goes wrong.
Right. Or can you still calm and find a solution?
Exactly. So what kind of story should people have ready for this one?
Think back to a time when something actually went sideways on the job, right?
Okay.
Maybe a hydraulic line burst, or the ground wasn't what you expected,
Oh, yeah.
or a piece of equipment just died on you. How did you handle it? Did you follow the safety procedures? Did you troubleshoot it step by step? Did you ask your team for help?
Okay. Yeah.
Or call in an expert? And then, really important, connect the dots for them.
Okay.
How did what you did actually solve the problem?
Gotcha.
What did you learn from it? Did
Yeah.
you stop more damage?
Right.
Or delays?
Yeah.
Did you figure out how to avoid it next time? Those insights show them you're not just fixing things, you're actually learning and growing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful here.
Absolutely. It can suggest highlighting those skills like staying calm or problem solving.
Okay. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Oh, yeah. Definitely don't blame others.
Right.
Or make excuses, own it, even if it wasn't completely your fault.
Sure.
Focus on what you did to fix it
Okay.
and what you learned.
So own your mistakes, learn from them, and show you're a problem solver. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, this question reminds me of something in the work environment section of that career guide.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It talked about how, excavator operators, they face unique challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like working in all kinds of weather,
Yep.
crazy terrain,
Yeah.
dealing with unexpected obstacles,
Absolutely.
sometimes in tight spaces,
Yeah.
hazardous locations.
It's true. It's not always easy.
So if you can tie your story back to that,
Mm-hmm.
like show that you can adapt and handle those things.
Oh, for sure. Did you have to change your approach because of a sudden downpour? Or find a way to stabilize the machine on a slope?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Those details make it real
Yeah.
and show you're more than just a problem solver. You're resourceful.
Okay.
You're resilient.
Awesome. So it's
Yeah.
all about showing that you're prepared for whatever comes your way.
Exactly. You've got what it takes to handle the job,
Awesome.
no matter what.
Okay. So let's move on to a question that I think is really about planning
Right.
and like being organized. This one is, how do you prioritize and plan your excavation work?
Okay.
Because I feel like if you're not prepared for this one, it could be easy to kind of stumble.
Yeah, you could definitely get tripped up.
Yeah.
They want to see how you think strategically,
Okay.
how you manage your time,
Makes sense.
because you're often on projects with, tight deadlines,
Right.
lots of moving parts.
Yeah, lots going on.
But so you got to be organized, efficient.
So they want to know, like, are you just going to jump in and start digging?
Right,
Or
exactly.
are you going to think it through?
Plan your attack.
So what's a good way to, like, walk them through your process?
Talk about how you actually do it. Do you start by looking at the blueprints and site plans really carefully?
Okay.
Do you break the project into smaller chunks?
Okay.
Think about the potential challenges and be specific. Like, do you use checklists or project management software or even just like a good old-fashioned notebook?
Yeah, haha, whatever works.
Right. And then bring in a real example.
Oh, yeah.
A project where you had to plan carefully to meet a deadline.
Okay.
or deal with some tricky logistics.
Yeah.
How did you break it down? How'd you keep everything on track?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So any pitfalls with this one?
Yeah, don't be vague.
Okay.
Like, I just get it done.
Right.
No. Walk them through the steps.
Gotcha.
Show them you're organized.
Okay, so show, don't tell.
Exactly.
Got it. All right, let's tackle a question that might seem a little more technical, but it's important.
Okay, what is it?
Can you explain how you maintain and service an excavator?
That's a good one. They're trying to see if you understand the machine beyond just operating it.
Okay.
They want to know you care about the equipment,
Yeah?
that you're responsible for it.
Like it's not just a tool to you, it's something you value.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like your car, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't drive it without checking the oil, right?
Yeah.
The tire pressure.
Makes sense.
Excavators need that same kind of care.
So what kind of things should people mention when they're answering this question?
Talk about the basics.
Okay.
Checking fluid levels, inspecting the tracks and tires, cleaning filters,
Okay.
lubricating all those moving parts,
Okay.
the regular maintenance stuff.
Gotcha. What about special training or certifications in maintenance?
Oh, yeah, definitely mention those.
Okay.
Anything that shows, your way around the machine.
Okay. And what about preventative measures?
Oh, those are great to talk about.
Okay.
Like inspecting it before and after each use,
Okay.
reporting any weird noises,
Okay.
following the manufacturer's service schedule
Makes sense.
shows that you're proactive.
Yeah, I like that. So anything to avoid.
Don't overstate your knowledge, right?
Yes.
If you're not a mechanic, don't pretend to be one.
Right. Be honest.
Just be upfront about what you know and what you've done.
Okay. So be honest, be specific about your skills, but, don't oversell it. Got it. Okay. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a question that focuses on, like, adaptability.
Okay, sounds good.
This one is, have you ever operated an excavator in challenging terrain or weather conditions? How did you handle it? Because, things don't always go smoothly on a job site.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, you're out there in the elements. Sometimes you get thrown a curveball.
Absolutely, and they want to know you can handle it.
Right. So what are they really trying to assess here?
They're looking at your resilience, your problem solving.
Okay.
When things get unpredictable.
Yeah.
Excavation, it's mostly outdoors.
Right.
You're dealing with weather, difficult terrain.
Yep.
So they want to know you can adapt, stay safe, and still get the job done.
Okay. So what kind of stories should people have ready for this one?
Think back to a time when you were working in, less than ideal conditions.
Okay.
Could be torrential rain,
Okay.
super uneven ground,
Yeah.
extreme heat,
Yeah.
or freezing cold. How did you adjust your technique?
Right.
What precautions did you take? And don't forget, talk about communication.
Oh, right.
Did you keep your crew informed?
Right.
Make sure everyone was working safely and efficiently?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those details show you're a team player, you can communicate, even when things are stressful.
Yeah, that's important. And I'm guessing RoleCatcher's AI can help with this one too.
Absolutely. It can help you tailor your answer,
Okay.
make sure it hits all the right points for the job.
Are there any pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, for sure. Don't exaggerate or make things up.
Right.
Honesty is key. Interviewers can usually spot a fake story.
So keep it real.
Exactly.
Okay, good advice. Now let's dive into a question that's all about attention to detail.
Okay, what's that?
How do you ensure that your excavation work meets project specifications and requirements?
Oh, that's a good one. It's all about showing that you're not just moving dirt, you're a precision operator.
Right.
You take pride in doing things right.
Yeah. What are they trying to figure out when they ask this?
They want to know if you understand how important accuracy is
Okay.
and following the standards.
Yeah.
Because excavation, it's crucial to so many projects.
Right.
And even small mistakes can have big consequences.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They want to know if you're going to wing it,
Right.
or are you going to make sure everything meets those exact specifications.
So how can someone really shine with their answer?
Talk about how you make sure you understand the specs
Okay.
and how you follow them. Do you really study those blueprints,
Okay.
site plans? Do you double check your measurements?
Okay, gotcha.
Do you use any surveying tools to make sure everything's perfect?
Yeah.
And don't forget about communicating with your supervisors and engineers.
Right.
Do you ask questions if something's not clear? Do you let them know if there might be problems?
Yeah.
Those details show you care about quality.
Right.
You can work with a team to make sure the project goes smoothly.
I like that. Any pitfalls here?
Don't just say, I do a good job.
Right.
Or I never make mistakes.
Okay.
Be honest.
Okay.
Talk about the steps you take to avoid those mistakes.
Be specific.
Exactly.
Okay, so be honest, be specific, and show that you're dedicated to quality.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, before we move on, I wanted to mention something interesting from the career stages section of the guide.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It talks about how excavator operators can, like, move up in their careers, even if they're just starting out.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, because even if you're applying for an entry-level job, if you show that you're aware of those possibilities and that you're thinking about growth, that can make a really good impression.
Absolutely.
Like, even if you're not ready to be a project manager tomorrow,
Right.
saying that you're interested in learning more,
Yeah.
taking on more responsibility.
That's great. It shows you're invested in the long term.
Yeah.
That you're a valuable asset.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to a question that I think is all about teamwork, which, construction is a very collaborative field.
Oh, absolutely. It's a team effort, for sure.
So this question is, can you describe a time when you collaborated with other workers or contractors on a construction project?
Yeah, that's a good one. Because construction sites, they're bustling.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And excavator operators, they're not working in a bubble.
Right.
They got to coordinate with all sorts of people, from laborers to engineers.
So what are they trying to figure out with this question?
They want to see how well you play with others.
Okay.
Can you communicate, share information, contribute to a positive atmosphere?
Right. So it's not just about your technical skills.
Exactly. It's about those soft skills, too.
Okay, so what kind of stories should people have ready for this one?
Think about a project where you had to work closely with others.
Okay.
Maybe you were coordinating your digging with, concrete pouring
Yeah.
or utility installation. How did you make sure everyone was on the same page?
Right.
Did you listen to their input?
Okay.
Did you handle any disagreements smoothly?
Makes sense.
And highlight your role in the team's success.
Okay, so how did you contribute?
Yeah. Did your work help keep the project on schedule, under budget?
Okay.
Did you come up with any creative solutions? Those details show you're a valuable team member.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm guessing, once again, RoleCatcher's AI can help refine the story.
Absolutely. It can suggest the best way to highlight those teamwork skills for that specific job.
Okay, cool. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Don't make it all about you. This is a teamwork question.
Right.
So focus on the collaboration.
That's a we thing, not a me thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to a question that's really about creating a safe environment.
Okay, I'm ready.
This one is, can you explain how you ensure that an excavation site is safe and secure? So this is going beyond just personal safety.
Right, it's about the whole site.
Exactly. It's about everyone on the site.
Because excavation sites, they can be dangerous, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, lots of potential hazards.
And I'm guessing interviewers want to know that you understand that.
Absolutely.
And that you're not just going to, turn a blind eye to any risks.
They want to see you take safety seriously.
So what are they really looking for with this question?
They want to know that you're proactive about safety.
Yeah.
That you're not just reacting to hazards, you're trying to prevent them in the first place.
Okay, I like that. So what kind of things should someone highlight in their answer?
Talk about the safety regulations and best practices.
Okay.
Inspecting the site for underground utilities.
Okay.
Marking the perimeter, making sure there's good lighting, ventilation.
Okay.
Those kinds of things.
Makes sense. And what about, your knowledge of soil types?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's super important. Knowing if the ground's stable, if there's a risk of a trench collapsing.
Right. So it shows a deeper understanding of the risks.
Exactly. And that you're not just following the rules blindly.
Right. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Don't ever downplay safety.
Right.
Or suggest you might cut corners.
Okay.
They want to know you're a safety advocate.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So be thorough, be proactive, and always prioritize safety.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, the last question we're going to dive into today is all about multitasking.
Okay, what's that?
Because, sometimes you've got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Multiple projects, deadlines, all that stuff.
I can get hectic.
So this question is, can you describe a time when you had to handle multiple excavation projects at once?
Oh, that's a good one. It's all about seeing if you can juggle those competing priorities.
And stay organized.
Exactly. Because, excavator operators often find themselves working on several things at the same time,
Right.
each with its own deadlines and requirements.
Yeah.
So they want to see how you handle that kind of pressure.
So are you the kind of person who gets flustered?
Right. Or can you prioritize, manage your time, stay focused?
Okay, what kind of stories should people have ready for this one?
Think back to a time when you actually did have to juggle multiple projects,
Okay.
maybe a road construction and a residential foundation at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
How did you prioritize the tasks?
Okay.
Did you make a schedule,
Okay.
use a project management tool?
Yeah, that's good.
How did you make sure each project got the attention it needed and, without falling behind on anything?
Yeah, yeah.
And again, communication.
Right. Always important.
Did you keep everyone in the loop about your progress?
Mm-hmm.
Did you coordinate with the other crews and contractors?
Yeah, makes sense.
Those details show you're a multitasking master.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can help with this one too.
Oh, absolutely. Helping you tailor it to the specific job.
Okay, great. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Don't just say, I'm a good multitasker.
Right.
No, give them an example.
Okay.
A concrete example of how you handled it.
So show, don't tell.
Exactly.
All right. So we've gone through some of the most common, challenging questions you might face in an excavator operator interview.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But there are definitely others that they might ask, depending on the company and the job.
Right, for sure.
They might want to know about specific types of excavators
Yeah.
or attachments, your experience reading blueprints, your knowledge of safety regulations.
It's always good to be prepared.
Yeah, definitely do your research on the company and the specific role.
Absolutely.
But the questions we covered today,
Mm-hmm.
they give you a good foundation to start with.
Yeah, for sure.
So practice your answers, highlight your skills, your experience, your safety mindset, and you'll be in good shape.
Exactly. And practicing really does make a difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Think about the stories you want to share.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they're relevant and interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice and get feedback.
Oh, absolutely. It's an amazing tool for that.
Okay, ready to dive into something really interesting that I think often gets overlooked in interview prep.
Yeah, hit me with it.
It's about the evolution of the industry,
Oh, interesting.
how technology is changing the game. We touched on it earlier, with GPS-guided excavators.
Right, right.
But the Technology Advances section in the career guide, they really go in depth.
Oh, yeah, that section is fascinating.
Yeah, they talk about how excavators are getting so much more sophisticated.
It's incredible how much they've changed.
Yeah, with advanced telematics,
Mm-hmm.
automated controls,
Yep.
even remote operation.
It's like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I know. And being able to talk about this stuff in an interview. Expert speaker.
It really does.
Yeah. So what can you do to prepare to talk about this stuff?
Well, first, you got to familiarize yourself with the tech, right?
Okay.
Read that Technology Advances section in the career guide. That's a great place to start. You can also research specific manufacturers, see what their newest models are doing, all the cool features.
Yeah, like what are the cutting edge things?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to show your enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewers, they love to see that you're excited about the industry, that you're eager to learn new stuff.
It shows that you're invested in your career.
Exactly. And it makes you stand out.
Okay, cool. Any pitfalls to avoid here?
Yeah, don't get too technical.
Okay.
Avoid all the jargon. They might not understand it.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Okay.
Focus on how these advancements actually help the industry.
Okay, so be knowledgeable, be enthusiastic, but keep it relatable.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Let's jump into some more questions.
Sounds good.
Okay, this one is, how do you stay up to date on the latest safety regulations and industry best practices?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because things are always changing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Technology changes, regulations change,
Mm-hmm.
best practices. It's all evolving. And the best operators are the ones who keep learning.
So how can someone really impress with their answer?
Think about what you actually do to stay informed.
Okay.
Do you go to conferences,
Okay.
workshops, read trade publications?
Yeah.
Or online forums? Do you look for training opportunities?
Gotcha. So it's about showing that you're proactive.
Exactly.
And what about mentioning any specific training you've done recently?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Or certifications you're working towards. Like, did you just finish a course on trench safety?
Okay.
Or get certified to operate those GPS-guided excavators?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Absolutely. Shows you're taking the initiative.
Yeah.
You're going above and beyond.
And I'm sure RoleCatcher's AI could help with this one too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It can suggest how to highlight that commitment to learning for the specific job you're after.
Okay. Any pitfalls here?
Don't act like you know everything.
Right.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
The best operators are humble, they're curious, they're always wanting to learn more.
So showcase your commitment to learning, but stay humble.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, let's move on to a question that I think really gets at your ability to work independently.
Okay, what's that?
Can you describe a time when you had to work on an excavation project with minimal supervision? How did you manage your time and ensure the project stayed on track?
Oh, interesting. It's about showing initiative,
Yeah,
self-motivation.
right.
Because even though excavation involves a lot of teamwork, sometimes you got to work solo.
Right, yeah.
Rely on your own judgment.
Makes sense. So what are they really trying to figure out with this question?
They want to know if you need someone looking over your shoulder all the time.
Right.
Or can you take ownership, manage your own time, get results?
Okay, so what kind of story should people have ready?
Think about a time when you were basically on your own on a project.
Okay.
Maybe your supervisor was offsite, or you had a task that required you to be independent.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd you approach it?
Okay.
Did you break it down into smaller steps? How'd you stay focused? Motivated? And what about problem solving? Did you run into any snags?
Right.
How did you get past them?
Yeah.
Did you keep your supervisor updated?
Right.
Or your team? Those details show that you can handle things on your own.
I like that. And once again, I'm guessing RoleCatcher's AI can help refine the story.
Oh, absolutely. Making sure you emphasize the skills they're looking for.
Okay. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Don't go overboard on the independence thing.
Okay.
Don't act like you hate working with others.
Right.
It's about finding that balance.
So show you can work independently, but also that you're a team player.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to a question that's all about communication.
Okay, I'm ready.
But this time, it's about communicating with people who aren't, experts in excavation.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a good skill to have.
This question is, can you describe a time when you had to communicate with a non-technical audience about an excavation project? How did you ensure they understood the key details and potential challenges?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because you'll be dealing with clients, property owners, people who might not know all the ins and outs of excavation.
Right, right. So what are they looking for here?
They want to see if you can explain things clearly,
Okay.
in simple terms. Adjust your communication style to your audience.
So you're not just, throwing jargon at them.
Right. You got to make sure they understand.
Okay, what kind of stories should people have ready?
Think back to a time when you did have to explain something to someone who wasn't technical.
Okay.
Maybe it was a homeowner getting their foundation dug out,
Okay.
or a city official overseeing a road project.
Yeah.
How did you approach it? Did you use any visuals,
Okay.
diagrams? Did you check in with them, make sure they were following along?
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, the outcome of the conversation? Should you mention that?
Oh, for sure. Were you able to get your point across?
Okay.
Did they seem to understand the challenges?
Yeah.
Did you build a good rapport with them? Did your communication help the project go smoothly?
I like that. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can help with this one too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, watch out for jargon,
Okay.
acronyms, all that technical stuff.
Right.
And don't talk down to them.
Okay.
Respect their intelligence, even if they're not excavation experts.
So keep it simple. Avoid the jargon. Be respectful.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Let's move on to a question that's really about safety, but specifically what you would do if you noticed a hazard.
Okay, that's important. We all need to be safety-minded.
This one is, imagine you're operating an excavator and you notice a potential safety hazard. What steps would you take to address the situation?
Oh, that's a good one. They're really trying to get into your head here.
Yeah, what are they trying to assess?
They want to see if you understand safety procedures, of course,
Yeah.
but also how you think critically,
Okay.
how you react in a real-world situation.
So it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about applying them.
Exactly. And making good judgments to keep everyone safe.
So what kind of steps should people walk through in their answer?
Be systematic about it.
Okay.
First, obviously, stop operating the excavator.
Right. Stop everything.
Safety first.
Exactly.
Then what? Then you got to figure out what the hazard is, how serious it is.
Okay.
Then alert your supervisor, your crew, make sure everybody knows.
Gotcha. And then...
Then you follow the established safety protocols, right?
Right, right. Which might mean securing the area, maybe evacuating people, calling emergency services if it's really bad.
Exactly. It depends on the situation, but you got to have a plan.
And don't forget about communication.
Oh, that's key.
Making sure everyone knows what's going on.
Absolutely. Clear communication can prevent accidents.
And after the situation's resolved,
Good point. You got to report it to your supervisor.
Okay.
Participate in any debriefings or investigations.
Right, so you can learn from it.
Exactly. Help prevent it from happening again. And RoleCatcher's AI, as always, can help you polish that answer.
Okay, yeah. Any pitfalls to avoid with this question?
Don't downplay safety.
Great.
Never suggest you might cut corners.
Right.
They want to see that you're a safety champion.
So be thorough, be decisive, and always, always prioritize safety.
Absolutely. No compromises on safety.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about a question that's a little more, big picture.
Okay, sounds good.
This one is, how do you see the role of an excavator operator fitting into the overall success of a construction project?
Oh, that's interesting. It's about seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah. What are they really getting at with this one?
They want to see if you understand how your work impacts the whole project.
Okay.
Not just digging a hole, but how it affects the timeline, the budget, the final outcome.
So they want to know if you're thinking beyond just your immediate tasks.
Exactly. So you want to highlight the importance of accuracy,
Okay.
efficiency, communication.
Makes sense. Like, how would you explain that to them?
You could say something like, the excavator operator, they're setting the stage for the whole project.
Okay.
If the excavation's done poorly, it can cause delays, cost overruns, even safety hazards later on.
Right, so it's really foundational.
Exactly. And don't forget to talk about teamwork,
Oh, right.
how you communicate with the other trades, follow the plans carefully, make sure your work fits in with everyone else's.
It's all connected.
It really is. And, show them that you take pride in your work,
Okay.
that you're invested in the project's success.
Yeah, definitely. Any pitfalls to avoid.
Don't act like you're more important than anyone else.
Right.
Or put down other trades.
Okay.
It's all about teamwork.
Right. Everyone has their role to play.
Exactly. Be humble, be collaborative, show that you get it.
Got it. Be humble, be collaborative, and see the big picture.
Exactly.
Okay, let's tackle one more question before we move on to some final tips.
Yeah.
This one is, how do you handle stressful or high-pressure situations on the job?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because construction sites, they can be pretty hectic.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Deadlines, unexpected problems, sometimes dangerous conditions.
It can be a lot to handle.
So what are they really trying to gauge with this question?
They want to see if you can stay calm under pressure.
Okay.
Make good decisions when things get crazy.
So are you going to freak out, or are you going to be the steady one?
Right. Are you going to panic, or are you going to be a problem solver?
Okay, so what kind of story should people have ready for this one?
Think about a time when you were under the gun.
Okay.
Maybe a tight deadline was looming.
Okay.
The site was a mess.
Yeah.
A piece of equipment broke down.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you handle it? Did you take a minute to think it through?
Okay.
Prioritize tasks? Did you communicate with your team?
Okay.
Make sure everyone was on the same page.
Right. Did you focus on finding solutions?
Exactly. Those are the things they want to hear.
And I'm guessing, as usual, RoleCatcher's AI can help with this one too.
Oh, absolutely. Help you highlight those stress management skills.
Okay. Any pitfalls to avoid?
Don't pretend you never get stressed.
Right.
Everybody does.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
They just want to know you can handle it.
So be honest, be authentic, and show that you can handle the heat.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of questions today.
We have a whole bunch of them.
But before we move on to some final tips, I do want to circle back to something we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Technology.
Ah, yes.
It's not enough to just be good at operating the machines.
Right.
Interviewers want to see that you're forward-thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You're embracing those technological advancements.
Absolutely. It's a changing industry.
So how can people really demonstrate that tech savviness in the interview?
Well, like we said before, know your stuff,
Okay.
do your research, and then look for ways to work it into your answers.
Okay.
Like if they ask about your experience operating excavators,
Yeah.
mention your experience with GPS-guided systems.
Okay. Or automated controls.
Makes sense. What about like when they ask about safety procedures?
Perfect opportunity. Talk about how technology is making sites safer.
Okay, yeah.
Proximity sensors to prevent collisions, remote operation for hazardous situations.
Right. So you're showing that you're not stuck in the past.
Exactly. You're part of the future.
You're an asset who can help them stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've thrown a lot at you today,
We have.
but remember, the key is to be prepared. Practice your answers.
Okay.
Think about your stories.
Yeah.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI.
Right. It can help you refine everything and get personalized feedback.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for some final tips?
Bring on.
All right, so final tips. We talked about skills, safety, technology, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, what else can really make a difference?
Well, first impressions are huge, right?
Yeah.
So dress professionally.
You don't need a suit and tie,
Right.
but clean, neat clothing shows you care.
Okay, makes sense.
And be on time. Actually, be a little early.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Gives you time to relax, make a good impression.
Okay. And what about, like, during the conversation?
Be engaged,
Okay.
They don't want to hear robotic answers.
Right.
They want to see you can think on your feet, communicate,
Mhm.
show your enthusiasm.
So be yourself. Be confident. Let that passion for excavation shine through.
Exactly. Oh, and ask questions.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Asking thoughtful questions shows you're curious, you're interested.
Yeah, it shows you've been paying attention.
It does.
And it's a chance to learn more about the company, right?
Absolutely. Their culture, the projects they work on, what they expect from you.
Okay, so it's not just about them getting to know you.
Right. It's a two-way street.
Okay. Any final words of wisdom?
Remember, the interview is just as much about you seeing if they're a good fit for you.
That's a good point.
So go in there confident, prepared, and most importantly, be yourself.
Awesome advice. And don't forget, RoleCatcher is a fantastic resource.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Their career guide, the interview guide, that AI feedback, it can all really help.
Absolutely. It's a game changer.
So explore those resources, practice your answers, and go into that interview feeling ready to rock.
You got this.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Excavator Operator interview prep. We hope you found it helpful and that you're feeling more confident about landing that dream job.
Best of luck out there.
Remember, with the right preparation, the right mindset, you can move mountains.